contrast that you're drawing, Michael, between Chinese financial structures and what American financial structures have become over the last several decades, this is very pertinent for talking about de-dollarization on the one hand and the rise of the renminbi or the yuan, whatever. Chinese currency has two different names, but the Chinese currency as a major world currency. Now, there are a couple of things that one should say about this. First of all, as far as the de-dollarization is concerned, the fact of the matter is that this is happening because the rest of the world is increasingly becoming aware that participating in the dollar financial system has many disadvantages, including the tendency of the dollar system to incur increasing financial crises and so on. But in addition, there is another point one must make, which is that the dollar system, which rests on the structures of financialization, have been strangling the American economy. They have been making the American economy less productive. They have been increasing social inequality in the United States. So, and of course, all of this has also had repercussions for politics. But of course, the way American politics works, it's the best democracy money can buy. So essentially, the extremely wealthy interests, which are also those interests that have an interest in financialization, are keeping the system going, even though it is having these bad effects on the American population. And even though the dollar system is actually decreasingly attractive to the rest of the world, and therefore we are going to see its demise very soon. So these interests are keeping it going. By contrast, in China, what you have, people say that, the Chinese yuan must be, will internationalize in the same way as the dollar. And this is where they're making a mistake. Yes, there will be increasing use of the Chinese yuan in international trade, but also you are seeing that the new structures that are emerging are not just about yuan domination. On the contrary, China is signing more and more agreements to trade with other countries in their currencies. So it will also enable the currencies of, say, Iran or India or what have you to become used in a limited, regulated way, but nevertheless used in international trade. But this will be about trade. So long as you don't have a vast investment in the financial bubbles regularly blown up by the American financial system, you don't need the dollar system, basically. So the yuan will be internationalized in an extremely different way. It will not look the same as dollar internationalization has looked over the last many decades, reliant on financialization. So China we will see that, but it'll look very different. That's the clarification that must be made.
Well, the question is, how are they going to create a international bank to oversee international reserves that do not really contain the dollar, except perhaps some dollars for foreign exchange stabilization? Certainly, the first step is going to be bilateral and multilateral currency swaps. China will hold Saudi Arabian currency, and Saudi Arabia will hold Chinese yen, and the result will be the petro yen that people have talked about. The members of the sort of Chinese Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the allies of China, Russia, Iran are going to develop mutual currency swaps, and at some point they will join together and create an international bank that will be able to create credit to finance the huge investment in infrastructure, in port development, in transportation that we're so far seeing China take the lead in developing along the old Silk Road and the Belt and Road Initiative. This is going to be coordinated by an international bank so that they can essentially have their economy without much contact with the dollar and the euro, because the dollar and euro have very little to offer not raw materials, not really much technology. They can make specialized machinery for producing computer chips, but basically it requires a whole institutional development. And I'm sure that's what they're discussing right now. And this is going to be unfolding in future programs that we'll be discussing.
Exactly.